So for my last article, I looked up more technology in the classroom and I found an article about flipped classrooms, which is a new concept to me. From when I read this article, I haven't really heard about it, so that was really interesting to me. So the concept of a flipped classroom is that homework is actually a short recorded video lesson, readings, or other videos online that the student watches at home. So like finding something you're interested in and then like learning more about it at home and like finding interesting things to you like videos or activities you can do that incorporate that or something. And then at school, in class, students do projects, experiments, exams, and other assignments, while the teacher oversees class activities and is available to answer questions or give one-on-one help. So to me, this sounds like it kind of sounds like an alternative school, like the Phantom Night School. They came in and talked to us during Education 290. So like basically at their school, they get to like choose something they're interested in. They have projects and they have to do a certain amount of hours with that. So this is what this sounds like to me. And the teacher doesn't really teach them about it. They just make sure that they're on the right track with everything, which I think is really cool. And then some teachers also incorporate the requirement to demonstrate mastery of a topic or section before moving on. So a lot of times I guess it is incorporated with what they're learning, but it's more individualized to them. So the teachers see what they've done with it and see if they're ready to move on. So by having it this way, it means that slow learners or students who struggle may not get through as much information, but they have genuinely learned all previous lessons rather than memorizing them. So they're actually like getting something out of it instead of just memorizing information to put answers on a test. And then in 2011, which is kind of outdated, but Clintondale High School became the first in the US to switch completely to all flipped classrooms, so I'd like to see what the statistic on that is now. But the school was among the worst 5% in the state of Michigan and felt they had nothing to lose, which is why they flipped. And then the results for them have been very promising. The overall estimated failure rate before flipping was 30% and after was only 10%, so it dropped 20%, which is great. The graduation rates for that school are now over 90%. The college attendance in 2010 before the flip was 63%, and after the flip in 2012 was 90%, so that's a very big jump. And then 81% of students were low income. So 10% of them didn't have access to technology to watch videos at home, so they had to watch them at school, which probably made it harder on them, but they seemed to make it work, which is why they had that in class time. And now over 200 school officials visited to check out the flipped school. So I'd like to see the research on that now and like what it's done for other schools, but I think that the whole thing is a really interesting concept. It's kind of like putting the education to the student's hand and letting them run with it. Like they don't have to have a set thing to go by, like you need to know this by then and everything. So I think that's a really interesting concept, and in my future classroom I could see if I could implement that maybe in one class or try it out a little bit, see what works and what doesn't, or maybe I'll work at a school that's completely flipped. I don't know, but I think it's a really interesting concept.